On today's show, we have Gregory Millette on talking NBA All-Star Game. Also, too, it looks like the Cavaliers have a little bit of a winning streak going on. Welcome back to the fan show. It seemed like this weekend, everyone in the metro area, from Midtown to Virginia Highlands, even in the Piedmont Park, it seemed like everyone came out of hibernation. It was just out and about this weekend. I saw it kind of firsthand because definitely this weekend I was out and about, especially more in town, inside the perimeter in Midtown and Virginia Highlands, Krog Street Market. So uh, it's finally, it seems like winter is over, so to speak. And people are out and about wearing t-shirts and short sleeves and all that jazz. I'm Alex Berger, and I just want to start the show with this. First, I just want to start off the show with talking about two stories. Well, one's a story, one is an opinion that I feel like a particular athlete needs to be successful going into his upcoming season. But first, I want to start off with talking about Josh Pastner because he ended up being on the front page of the AJC, and it's not because he's winning. He's actually doing the opposite of that this year, and he was involved with a ex-con by the name of Ron Bell, and it's someone that he associated with from his past, that they have similar backgrounds, but unfortunately for Mr. Bell, he chose a different path, and that path led to taking prescription drugs for pain, and ended up being addicted to them. So his story is a sort of in and out story of trying to recover, trying to be a decent human being, and he gets inspiration by Josh Pastner and what he's doing at the University of Memphis, and it's a very interesting article that Alan Judd writes in the AJC about that whole situation, and yeah, it's just a mess where it is right now. That Josh Pastner is accused of sexually assaulting Ron Bell's girlfriend or wife at the time, or yeah, it was a girlfriend at the time, now wife, and also too that there's some blackmail going on. So I knew with this story when Josh Pastner got accused of sexual assault, that there was where there's smoke there's fire, and I knew that there were going to be more allegations coming out. Now there are more allegations coming out, more details to the story, and it's a more complicated story, and I don't think it's really a complete story, to be honest with you. It's just the information that has come out now that the media has gotten hold of, and obviously you have pieces that Alan Judd wrote in the AJC that I don't think this is the full story. I think it's one of those things that we're probably going to get more details about it, but yeah, it's I guess I get from a coaching standpoint that you want to have someone around your program that made some bad choices, because obviously we all make bad choices, but it's what we do with those choices, and it's how we when we fall from grace, it's how we pick ourselves back up. And uh, obviously, from what um, Josh and this guy's relationship that he had, that Josh Pastner thought it was appropriate that he would be around his basketball program. And I get that it's like you want someone to be an example for your young men, because obviously they're going to have times where they do things that that and they make mistakes in life that have consequences to them. And it's kind of like, how do you deal with those consequences? So I can see that it's like you can have someone like that around your program that's been through that life experience to say, hey, I've done this, don't get involved, or this is how you have to work your way out of this situation. So I totally get it that you have someone like that around your program, but this is when it just bites you in the butt. And right now, it's biting Josh Pastner in the butt, being accused of sexual assault when it seems like every uh, male in, I mean, not every male, but it's like, but you have males in high positions in just in the entertainment world that are getting accused of this. And I'm not saying that yes, it's wrong what they did, but at the same time, it just ruins your career, and it's something that you can't come back from. So this is very serious, and it's like in a time when sexual assault um, is coming to light, that you just assume that it's like that person's going to lose their job, especially if they coach in a place like Georgia Tech. But it seems like in this case, since there's a lot of moving parts, that honestly, to me, it seems like that I somewhat believe Josh Pastner when he says that he wasn't involved. A part of me does, and also a part of me doesn't. I'm really, to me, there's just not enough evidence out there for me to form an opinion right now. So I'm just gonna stay on the fence with this one, because honestly, I don't feel like enough details have come out yet about this. Now, obviously, um, this is just going to have to uh, stand the test of time. Obviously, Mr. Bell isn't going to be involved in the Georgia Tech program anytime soon, and he turned into also too, he turned into a typical NCAA booster, where he was giving kids stuff, and I get where that comes from. I think at first it probably came from a good place, um, but you saw what happened at the University of Miami with Nevin Shapiro. Now this Ron Bell doesn't have as much money as Nevin Shapiro did, but at the same time, if he's being real friendly with players, and you're a coach at one of these big programs, that something needs to be done, because if you're not going to do something, you're going to get fired for lack of institutional control. Like, that's just how this works. That's how. I mean, this is how Jim Tressel at Ohio State got fired, because his program was just out of control with the tattoo stuff, and it's looking like now the NCAA has a pretty good or you're giving the NCAA at least a pretty good conclusion to that. So also too, like I talked about, Georgia Tech right now is not been in the win column. So this gives fans fuel, I feel like, to try to oust him. But at the same time, Josh Pastner has said that year two was going to be a rough year in the rebuild that he's trying to do. So hopefully with what's going on in the win and loss column, that I'm pretty sure that's a closed door discussion with Todd Stansbury, but yeah, I feel like Todd Stansbury is put in a tough place because right now what's going on with this, I feel like that's going to define him as an athletic director. Does he stand by the side of Josh Pastner, or is it time to make a change? I feel like we're at a point, honestly, I feel like we're at a point with this where it's not time to take action on anything, but at the same time, it can be one of those things that Todd Stansbury stands by Josh Pastner, believes in Josh Pastner, and this thing blows over, and it's kind of like, I don't know, that was probably the best thing Georgia Tech basketball could have done, or at the same time, they do nothing, and maybe that was the worst thing they could have done. So I feel like this thing isn't over, and it's probably going to get worse before it can get better, or maybe this is the worst part of it. So I guess what I want to say to Georgia Tech fans, just be patient. This thing is going to get resolved in due time. But kind of on a lighter note though, I feel like for the Braves to have success in 2018, because right now some media outlets aren't really giving the Braves a chance. I can see why. Some people have the opinion that this is going to be a 90-loss season like the last couple ones. I can see where they're coming from that, but Dansby Swanson, I feel like Dansby Swanson has to get around the has to get at least 20 home runs, at least in that ballpark this season to be successful. I feel like that's reasonable. Or he has to have a consistent on base percentage, which he hasn't really had any of those. And his obviously it was a big spark for him to come out when he came out from the minors to help the Braves back in 2016, and his 2017 season was hot at first, and then as the year went on, it just got colder and colder and colder. So obviously Atlanta is expecting big things out of Dansby Swanson, and the interesting thing is that during the offseason, he went back to Nashville to train with his college coach. So hopefully, and other guys that came out of that Vanderbilt program did the same thing. So hopefully that's a big benefit for him. That's a big positive for him. But outside of playing shortstop, that we definitely need Swanson as a bat and to be a consistent one at that, because that him being consistent is going to be what helps the Braves in the long run. keeps the Braves either in the middle of the pack or on top of the pack, hopefully. I know I'm probably being a little bit optimistic with that one, but definitely Atlanta expects a lot out of Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson should expect a lot out of him too, because just from a defensive standpoint, like, you can't hold your hat on that alone. You have to have that balancer, because the great ones did. I mean, Chipper was an outstanding defensive player, but he was known for his bat, and that's where Swanson needs to be right now. I feel like he plays good defense, but his offense, especially towards the end of the 2017 season, it just went cold, and you can't have that if you want to be successful in the major leagues. So definitely expecting a lot out of Swanson from an offensive standpoint, and because it just can't be Freddie out there. It just can't be Freddie or Markakis. You need other guys to contribute when it's their time at the plate, and I think him not being the poster child of the Braves organization anymore is good for him, because he was the poster child when he was in the minor leagues. Like, he was in commercials when he was in the minor leagues. So him taking a step back from that, taking a step back from talking to guys like me, taking a step back from being on the cover of whatever, and now just focusing on baseball, focusing on what got you here, I think is a good step for Dansby Swanson, and hopefully we'll expect big things out of Dansby this summer. Also, just wanted to just do a quick segue before I bring Gregory on, and this is what I like to call shout out to the weekend, and I just want to make a few shout outs for because to me this is a good weekend, and when it's a good weekend, I'm going to do shout outs to the weekend. So this is shout outs to the weekend, and first person I want to shout out to during this past weekend is one of my friends, Jeff Childs. Jeff is a Florida Gator fan. He is a Florida Gator alum who now works in downtown Atlanta. So I just want to give a shout out to him, and because he made breakfast for this guys group that we get together once a month. Usually at his place. So he opened up his house, made breakfast for us, and he made these pancakes that weren't your normal pancakes. They were the I guess kind of organic type ones. And at first I bit into it, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know about this, but I kept on at it, and it seemed like the more I bit into the pancakes, the better they tasted. So shout out to Jeff Childs and Jeff's Cooking. Also, too, I want to give a shout out to one of my female friends, Nikki Gilbo, because I got to have lunch with her Sunday afternoon, and it was just a great conversation that we had. Went to a really cool barbecue restaurant there in Virginia Highlands. I can't remember the name of it, and I am so sorry. I'm totally blanking. Oh, here we go. Got it. It is DBA Barbecue in Virginia Highlands. So if you've ate at DBA Barbecue, that's some good stuff. That's or if you're looking for a barbecue place in town, check out DBA Barbecue. That's free advertisement there for you, and yeah, it's really good barbecue. So be able to check that out. But thanks to Nikki. I had a great lunch with her. Great conversation. Always enjoy having conversations with female. It's very interesting to see the way that they think, the way they ask you questions, everything like that. But also, too, just to end out my shout out list, I also want to give a quick shout out to Cameron McKenzie because he's a dude. Because I had house church, I put that on my Instagram account and did some great stuff with the worship that happened. It was great worship that we had, great music that he put together. I know he spends a lot of time on that. So without further ado, we're gonna have Gregory Molet on the show. We just want to welcome back Gregory Molet, one of our NBA writers on fansfavoritefan.com, and a lot of stuff going on in the NBA recently with the All-Star game. Also, too, the trades have seemed to go as planned with the Cavs. So there's some good news there. Gregory, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me back.
No problem. We just want to start off talking about the Cavs. Obviously, it seemed like they traded away their whole team, and now it seems like the trades have worked because right now they are 4-0. What's your take on what's kind of just transpired over the past couple of days, or at least since last week?
I feel like, of course, the Cavs have improved win-wise. I would definitely need to point out they've beaten the Celtics and not the Rockets, but what's the other team? Let me find it real fast. They beat the Boston Celtics and the Thunder, the last two of their games. So they've actually beaten two of the top at least 5 teams in both East and West over the last 4 games. So that's a very good sign that they're on the right track. I think they have the Wizards who have John Wall. So that's a game they would definitely need to win, which is also in the East as well. They have the Spurs coming up before the end of the month. And let's see who else is a good team that they play. They don't face anybody challenging until the end of March. But they've at least improved on the roster. I mean, not the roster, but the win column. They've won 4 games in a row, so they have a lot to, obviously be happy about over there in the land.
Over there in the land. There you go. Do you feel like this is a completely different team than what they had before?
Oh yeah, once you ship out a whole starting lineup almost of players, you're gonna definitely get a different team. I think even their GM said that he just noticed that they were very sluggish and there was no passion, so he felt like that he needed to make that move, and I'm pretty sure he's very happy from what he's seen because there is a new it's like when you put in a new light bulb that's been dim. It's just a whole totally different look for the team. So I'm pretty sure not only is the front office happy, but most definitely the Cavaliers fans.
Do you think they put together a team that could challenge the Warriors?
No.
Why not?
No.
What's the piece missing, or is it a development thing that this thing needs to ride out for a couple of years so they can reach that level?
I mean, if you're talking about a 7-game series, that's no question, that's a no. But if you're talking just it's a game, I feel like, for me, any professional team can beat any other professional team at any given day because they're all professionals. They know how to play. There's nobody out there on a professional team that doesn't know how to play. It's just all about matchups, defense, and how you feel going into the game. So I just feel like the Warriors just have the totally one up with matchups, especially with experience now. They've been to 3 NBA finals, so they have all kind of experience on their team from older players to young guys. Everybody on that team has some form of finals experience or some kind of playoff experience. So that's really going to help them. And a lot of the Cavaliers players hardly have any experience like that. So that's one of the main reasons why I feel like the Cavaliers are just not no matchup at the moment to beat the Warriors.
Well, do you feel like it's going to take some time to develop to get to where they can play a 7-game series with the Warriors, or are they going to have to kind of wheel and deal in the off season and make some more deals to have the pieces in place to compete with the Warriors?
Yeah, it's going to take a little while. I don't know if LeBron is going to want to wait that long, but it's definitely going to take at least 1 or 2 years to get this ball rolling. Like he said in Miami, when him, Wade, and Bosh all got together and all the criticism started falling once they lost a few games. I think he said Rome wasn't built in a day. So, it's going to take a little while for them to get the ball rolling out there in the land with his few new teammates, young teammates.
So the land is a 2 to 3 year project right now.
I would say maybe 2. I wouldn't say 3. I think by year 3, they definitely need to have it working right, or I would be like, I'm shipping out.
Gotcha. Let's talk just hypothetical, just to throw this out there. Say this project doesn't work out. Do you feel like then LeBron moves on to another team or just simply retires?
I definitely don't think he's going to retire anytime soon, but I think that if this doesn't work, he's going to most definitely weigh out his options. I just don't think that he'll have it in him to disappoint Cleveland and Ohio again, because he'll be, again, public enemy number 1. Once again, if he joins a team like Oklahoma City, or I wouldn't, maybe not so much like the Lakers, where they really don't have too many players out there, but I really feel like that he would be public enemy number 1 again if he leaves Cleveland. But he does have that ring out there, so they might not hate him as much. But that first time was catastrophic. That was horrible.
I guess right now it's too kind of a wait and see type of feel with Cleveland. But if you were the GM, would there be any moves that you would make during the off season?
Oh, it would definitely be some moves in the off season. I would try to get some kind of a center that can at least rebound the ball. I just don't understand why they didn't go after DeAndre Jordan a little bit harder before the trade deadline, but I guess they got what they wanted. But yeah, I think I would definitely get some kind of a center or a versatile power forward for the Cavaliers.
Do you feel like they could require that piece in the draft with choosing some sort of college player? Do you feel like they need to pick that up in free agency?
They would definitely need to pick it up in free agency, because with the power forward and the center, you have to be skilled down below with post and blocking out, and you just have to be NBA fit. And a lot of the college players right now, especially the big guys, are not NBA ready at all. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to have the potential before you're, drafted. And a lot of these guys may have potential, but it's kind of hard to figure out a center opposed to like a point guard and a shooting guard, because all you got to do is shoot and run fast with those guys. A lot of those guys really aren't like a big muscular fit, like a center and a power forward usually are.
Now, just moving on from the Cavs, there was a song that came out, I think during the early 2000s, that Shaq, when Shaq thought he could be a rapper, put out a song called Kobe Can't Win With Me. Now, that's all past them, but they apparently had some sort of discussion during the All-Star game. And Gregory, what was that discussion about that they were having?
It was just a sit down, like a usual discussion with, I think, even Isaiah Thomas, not the young guy, the Pistons Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
And Magic Johnson sat down before and discussed their issues, and this was just like a normal conversation for everybody to, I guess, let that go, because I know they've been past their issues with each other, and they've even said they weren't as bad as people made it seem, because the media and, you know, sports world just made it a lot more bigger than what it was.
Right.
So they just decided to, you know, sit down and discuss old but very important topic to speak about between those two guys.
Do you think that they're what they went through? Do you think now they're friends or they're just friendly?
Well, I don't think they're friends. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't think they're friends. They're cool with each other, but how their personalities are, they really don't fit like a friendship type of personality, because Kobe's more serious and all about his business, and Shaq is all about his business as well, but he's a little bit more silly. That's why, you know, he's on the TNT post and pregame show, because he's that type of personality, and Kobe is not like that at all. So they might be, you know, cool, but when it's time to go home, they go their separate ways.
Right. So they're more friendly towards each other.
Yeah, they're more friendly. They'll, you know, give each other a hug and talk when they see each other around or when they at an event together, but you really don't see them taking a lot of pictures together. So that tells me that they might be cool once they get together, but once they're apart, they're apart. They don't speak or talk too much with each other. That's just the nature of their relationship.
Right. But well, that's some interesting analysis there, because obviously right now they're bi-coastal, because I'm assuming Kobe Bryant is still in LA. I don't see why you would leave LA,
Right.
king of LA for such a long time. But at the same time, obviously, since Shaq does TNT stuff and TNT is here, so he lives here. So yeah, there's really no reason why they could have some sort of friendship. But yeah, very interesting stuff that you brought to the table, Gregory. But I guess they're always going to be known together throughout NBA history, because they won finals together. So I just want to know. I guess it's just one of those things that it's like it's that guy that you see at the reunion that you only see.
Yeah, I would categorize that as well.
10 years apart or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe their relationship. Just somebody that you would see at the family reunion that you haven't seen in a while, and you know, you get together and discuss everything. And yeah, that's a good way to describe their relationship, Alex.
And do you think it was just kind of that what you saw here at the NBA All-Star game?
Yeah, I don't think they had any like beef that they had to discuss. It's just wanting to get past it. And both guys are retired, and both can reflect on their NBA careers and, you know, the run that they had and what could have be happen if they would have got along a little bit better in those years of being in LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it seems like just from a fan perspective that you're either like Kobe for what he does on the court, or you're just a big fan of Shaq and the stuff he does off the court and his personality. Because personally, I really love Shaq. I really love.
Who don't love Shaq?
What's your take on in all this?
I mean, with their conversation, it was very, very interesting. It was a fun conversation. They had a lot of laughs. They talked about their three-peat. They talked about how the media blew everything up, and they also talked about how some of their arguments they had. They talked about how mad Shaq was when Kobe won his fifth ring, because he was just like, well, now I can't say I have more rings than Kobe. He's always going to have, that one up on me. And I think he almost said, I ought to get like a 10-day contract with the Warriors so I can tie you, and so then they no longer can have that discussion anymore. So it was a very fun conversation going from past to present.
Mhm. Mhm. What are they both going to be known for? Because obviously they're just two different personalities.
Well, of course, Kobe is going to be named as one of the greatest to ever do it, right next to MJ. Wherever MJ is, of course, the conversation is going to trickle into Kobe for me. Shaq is going to be known for the most dominant center, power forward of all time. That's going to be his legacy that has already started, of course, but he's going to be known as the greatest center of all time, to me.
Now, that's an interesting comparison that you compared Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant in the same conversation, obviously, for obvious reasons. But where does LeBron James factor in all this? Because it seems like since Kobe's retired, that now people are just like, it's Michael and LeBron, or it's LeBron and Michael.
I don't know why they would think that. LeBron has his long way to go. I would say, first off, I don't really do the whole ring debate. I mean, you have what you have, but for me, I go with the NBA Finals win and loss. I think LeBron is 3-7. So you've been to the finals, but you can't seem to get the win during the finals. You can get in the playoffs, but once you get down to them finals, you usually take the L. So that's where I find rift in LeBron's legacy. The fact that he's just not that assassin as well, like a Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant.
So
he has a ways to go.
If we were talking quarterbacks, and obviously Tom Brady's right now the greatest quarterback that's played in the NFL based off a championship, but at the same time, Peyton Manning's in that same conversation because he was a complete stat machine. So are you pretty much saying that LeBron James is kind of like Peyton Manning?
Well, no, Peyton Manning, if I can put my football hat on, Peyton Manning, dominates the regular season. That's where his legacy comes from. He's not really the ring guy because I think he only has 2. Like LeBron, he dominates the season. It's like the total opposite of Peyton Manning. But when he gets in the finals, it just seems like that just goes away. Like you can put up the triple doubles. I think he even got maybe 60 one time or close to it. But when the finals come, you score 14 points, sometimes 10. It's like, where's that dude that you're supposed to have that dude in the finals the regular season come to the finals?
So he just turns it on during the playoffs.
Yeah, he should turn it on during the playoffs. Like Peyton Manning, that was I think his downfall is he's kind of he's not as consistent in the Super Bowl or even the playoffs. He wasn't as consistent.
Gotcha. Very, very interesting stuff. Because a lot of people have him some reason have them in that conversation. So you think, in your humble opinion, that it should, when you talk greatest all time, you talk GOATs, that's either Kobe and Michael or Michael and Kobe.
I mean, it's fine, of course, if you want to have your opinion and say LeBron is one of the greatest, because he's a dominant player. There's no question about that. But when you compare his, like, not just his stats, because I'm not really a stats guy. I just want to see you play and how you play compared to another player. And when you're comparing like LeBron to a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, you obviously see two totally different players. Like Michael and Kobe are damn near the same player. Like that, Kobe has copied Michael Jordan, and people give him riff about that, but I would not copy Michael.
Right.
But they're like, Kobe has studied him so much that he has emulated his game, where LeBron, he's his own player, which is fine. But the way he plays, it just like he doesn't understand himself sometimes. Sometimes he wants to, post up, but then he'll shy away from it and shoot a jumper, which totally not his game. Like, your game is to post up. You're big for a reason. Like, he can drive through the paint and be the most dominant, like, of his I think he's a shooting guard, I think. He can be one of the most dominant shooting guards if he can just stick to his strengths. But sometimes he gets, I guess, nervous, or he's fearful of the person that's guarding him, and he'll just pop up and shoot a J and miss. And then he'll throw the ball to somebody else, which is fine to throw the ball to somebody who's, you feel like you can trust. But Michael and Kobe not going to do that.
Right. Now, just kind of turning it back to Shaq, what do you think Shaq is? What do you think fans are going to remember Shaq for?
Well, he was born well back then. You will definitely remember the three-peat that he, of course, had in L.A., his time in Miami with Dwayne Wade, and he's the player that gave him the nickname The Flash. Some might not remember he was traded to the Suns and Boston, and I think he went right back to Miami as well. But most importantly, Shaq is going to be known for just being that big guy that everybody can look up to. He was like a honorable NBA player from what he's done off the court with getting a great education from himself. Now he's supposed to be Dr. Shaq. Well, a lot of people just call him Shaq, and I don't think he really cares too much about that. But Shaq is going to be known as one of the most dominant players on and off the field from what he's done in his career. And a great NBA analyst for TNT.
Now, I just want to talk about the main event, which this weekend is the NBA All-Star Game. But before we get into the game itself, and just to let you guys know, we are recording this on a Sunday, so if you're getting this on a Monday and Tuesday, we did not see the game. The game hasn't been played yet.
They're introducing the players right now.
Right, exactly. But still, like, we're gonna give you just some things that Gregory's looking forward to the game. But before we get into the game itself, Gregory, what was your impression of the festivities leading up to the game?
They weren't as magical as years past, because a lot of people
magical. I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, years ago when Vince Carter was in the dunk contest and Dwight Howard being Superman and Blake Griffin, you have all these players that are known for dunking, and now you have these young guys that hardly nobody knows their name and stuff, but this is how they jump into the spotlight. Like Devin Booker, who won the three-point contest the other day. Like those guys, a lot of people don't know, and I really didn't pay too much attention to prior to them, being in the All-Star festivities.
Right. What were your impressions about just the skills contest?
I really didn't get a chance to see all of the skills contests, but that's usually the opening matchup of the All-Star game. But they usually do the NBA skills contest one at a time. One player goes and the clock runs, and whoever has the least time you can win. This year, I think they did two at a time.
Gotcha.
So they kind of made that kind of tweak, which is a little bit more interesting, just like they tweaked the All-Star game, which I think they did a great job with.
Gotcha. What do you think of the flags that they have going on with the All-Star game? Because you're seeing, obviously, the NBA is now Nike, which Nike owns the Jordan brand. So you're seeing a lot of Jordan brand out there. Who would have thought that brand would eventually be kind of like the staple point or one of the things that you would identify with the NBA?
I think that's a very smart move for the NBA because they know who they can get the money from. They just have to realize, which players also have contracts with Adidas, like James Harden. Like that's going to be I know that's a tough relationship right there because James Harden, I think, has one of those multi-million-dollar contracts that he's not going anywhere anytime soon. I think also Derrick Rose, but that's another story.
Right. But I just look at this. I know an All-Star game is a little bit different than just a regular game because obviously you're drafting from two sides and you have the whole league at your disposal, but it's pretty much Team LeBron versus Team Steph.
Mm-hmm.
How can you get excited about this game, even though it's going to be a little bit different? But these are the two teams that you're going to most likely project seeing them going into the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually am going to enjoy watching this because, of course, one thing is different, and I think it actually fits the environment that the NBA players are in. Like everybody is friends, everybody want to get along with everybody, which is fine and dandy. But I think it actually fits the NBA environment where, you have all these different players on this one team that usually would be teammates. And, of course, some of them are going to be close friends. Some of them might not even like each other, but they all come together to play on one team for one night. I feel like that was a great decision by the NBA because it was actually just getting very, very redundant and boring voting for all these players. Basically became a popularity contest for the All-Star game. And now they switched this up to where one specific player who gets all the votes can pick his whole team. And LeBron just knocked it out the park.
Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I hope LeBron would win because how he picked. But I wouldn't be surprised if Steph keep knocking down those threes because, of course, you're going to have to watch Russell Westbrook, maybe Steph Curry, LeBron, and James Harden. Those four guys are going to be going after that All-Star MVP.
Outside of those guys, who are you looking forward to seeing in this game and seeing how they're going to compete? And also to what are the best matchups that you feel like are going to happen in this game?
But I was actually excited to see DeMarcus Cousins, but he has left the building due to an Achilles injury. But I'm also excited to see Kyrie Irving and also how he's going to coincide with LeBron, which I don't think is going to be a problem. But I'm really excited to see what Andre Drummond brings for Team LeBron, and also Paul George as well.
Gotcha.
Even though he sucked in the three-point contest. I don't even think he barely got 10 points. Out of all those balls around the three-point arch, he only got 10 points. Come on.
Just like kind of a quick side note, I just want to get your opinion on, because obviously with Steph in the game has changed a little bit, and it seems like with the type of player Steph is, that it's giving just inspiration to shorter guys that can play basketball, kind of like the equivalent of what Drew Brees is to football, having that short stature, but knowing that you could throw for over 500 yards. But with Steph, if you can hit the three, then you're pretty much money. Because the NBA game used to be kind of the drive to the basket type of league and dunking and alley-ooping type of league, but now with Steph Curry, it seems like the game has changed to trying to nail that three ball from downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's very much of how Steph plays, but that also is how you also can take a big L when you just always depend on the three all the time. I forgot who made the quote, but you can live by the three and also die by the three.
Gotcha. Because you see it with a lot of college teams that seem like their offenses are designed around the three, so shooting the three ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that Steph Curry's presence, it seems like, has changed the whole basketball culture.
Oh yes, because that's who is on top right now. So you have to figure out a way to beat him or copy him to try to, get that W.
Gotcha. Well, is there anything else that you're looking forward to with this All-Star game, or how do you feel like so far with all the festivities? What would you rate Kevin Hart with being the host of this?
I would rate him. Kevin Hart is very funny to me. I would rate him probably a good 8. He's always going to be the dummy, not the dummy, but like if you call the dummy that they put in the car and crash the car, that kind of dummy. He's always going to participate in something and either get laughed at or beat up or something. He's always willing to take the blow for the entertainment. So I always give him a good rating. I give him an 8.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems like he's just one of those entertainers that puts a lot of heart into this, to what he does, and obviously, since he's not as tall, and because I know he played basketball back in the day, but it seems like he always wants to try to be involved with the NBA.
Yeah, I love his relationship with sports, from his Philadelphia Eagles winning and him just completely having a good time, to him being on the sidelines talking mess to all the players. I just enjoy seeing him and him enjoying himself and giving us some great entertainment.
Well, Gregory, I appreciate you being on the show today. Where can we reach you on social media if people that are watching, if they want to get in contact with you, just about your NBA analysis or just things that you've written so far on Fan Favorite Fan?
You can definitely check my social media out, Twitter, Instagram, at Reporter Gregory, ReporterGregory. You can definitely ask me some questions, debate. Just don't come acting ignorant and get blocked. Which I really don't block people that often, but that block button is there for a reason.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to The Fan Show. The Fan Show is a part of fansfavoritefan.com. So be sure to go check out that website now that you're done listening to me and this podcast. We got a lot of great articles up on the website. We got some articles about Atlanta United. Soccer season is about to start soon, and we are covering Atlanta United. So we're going to be cranking out content all season long on them. And their new jerseys look pretty sweet. I love the white with the peach. Ooh, you got to check that out if you haven't seen a picture of that. Looks really cool. Looks really nice. I think I'm going to buy one, and that's going to be my first soccer jersey. So, but yeah, the best way to interact with the show, or just to give feedback, or just to show a response that you like it, is to hit the like button, because in this new world of media, we're in an interesting time with all this technology, but the like button's important, and it goes a long way. So if you like what you heard, be sure to hit that like button also too. I know Carter Burke. So Carter, if you're listening to this, I know you're a first time listener to the show, and if you like what you heard, be sure to hit that like button, and I hope that I can keep you listening, Carter. So also too, the comment section is the best way to interact with the show. It's instant feedback that we can get, and we definitely would appreciate your comments, and that's the best way to be a part of this conversation. If you want to talk about the NBA All-Star Game, or stuff that's going on with Josh Pastner or the Atlanta Braves, that's the best place to voice your opinions and to make your voice heard, is in the comment section. Also, too, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I am Alexander71004. So be sure to send me a tweet. If it's a cool tweet, I will read it on air, and that is a promise. I've been promising that for a while. You guys haven't been hollering at me on Twitter, so if you want to be heard with your Twitter account, be sure to send me a cool tweet, and I will read it on air. But with that being said, thanks for listening. You guys are awesome. Always appreciate the new followers, the listeners that we're getting here on the show, and on the SoundCloud page. Also, too, you can hear the podcast on YouTube. So if you don't have access to SoundCloud, YouTube's the best bet. But be sure to do the same with the same interaction that I just mentioned. But thanks, guys. Really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you listening. This is all about you guys, the fans. The fans in the Atlanta metro area and in the Southeast. So definitely appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And I hope you have an amazing Monday. I hope you don't have a case of the Mondays, but this can be a good, productive day. And I hope that I got your day started, or I hope that I made your day a whole lot funner if you're just getting off work and listening to this. But have an amazing day, guys.